Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, and if you're listening to this, welcome to my podcast. Before we go any further, I would really like to thank all my subscribers and all my listeners. It really does help me grow this channel and grow my podcast. I do it more for fun. The guests that come in, they do it for fun as well. So, it's great that you guys and girls out there are really enjoying the content. Today, we're not actually reviewing anything. We're more just having a chin wag. And I've got my mate in, Joseph Dot. Welcome in again, Joe.
Thank you.
And Joe is... I don't know why I'm talking to a camera really, because I should be talking to you. Okay. Joe, actually, I talk to the camera for now, Joe.
Yeah.
I'll ignore you.
Okay, no worries, go ahead.
But Joe is a very not world-renowned, but he is a renowned wedding photographer, portrait photographer. I think you do more. I think you undersell yourself really, Joe. Looking at your work, I think you're a lot more than you're a very modest man, I think.
I appreciate that, Bob, but we're not here to talk about my work. We're here to talk about something else.
Let's
talk about
that. Indeed. We'll change the subject. Yeah. This is what we're talking about, the Canon R5 and a little bit of the R6. Now, the R5, we're doing this because everyone is doing it, so I thought, well, why don't we as well? We'll join the rat race, as it were. Now, this has been a major launch, not just for Canon, but for the entire photographic industry. And that's mainly because I think it shoots 8K. And because of that, it's the first camera on the planet of this style, of this shape, sort of hybrid camera that shoots 8K. Now, I don't want to go through all the specs of it, but you're a Canon shooter. You shoot with a 5D3 and a 5D4, don't you?
That's right, yeah.
And you have done since you started your professional career, haven't you?
Well, I started on the 5D Mark II, but
Okay.
But then now I'm on the 5D Mark III and Mark IV. Yeah,
right.
I had one of each.
Okay, so I think to me, you're the only guy I know that shoots Canon. Well, you're not the only guy that shoots Canon. The only guy I know that shoots Canon for a living, makes money out of using Canon gear. And I've got one question for you before we go into it. Would you invest seriously in one or two R5s?
No. I would 100% not. Because, currently... They cost, was it $4,000 each?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really looked. It's going to be around $4,000.
The pre-order, I think, was 4,000 something, just for the body, right? I think, and 4,000 each. I'd need two cameras.
You would.
So that's $8,000. That's without any lenses. So we're looking at somewhere between 10 and 15 grand just to have the working setup that I need to shoot a wedding or to shoot.
And it's compact flash card. No, CF fast card. Well, not compact flash. That dates back years ago. CF fast, they're not cheap.
No.
So you add in another 500 quid for some cards, maybe more than that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the price range. You'd have to be making a hell of a lot of money from your photography work. Don't get me wrong, it's an investment. If you need 8K, this is the other issue, Bob. Is I don't need the specs that it has. If I desperately needed them, if I desperately needed 8K for a job that's going to pay me 15 grand or something, I would invest in it because it's an investment. But obviously, sometimes you have to take the wants from the needs, and separate them. Yeah, if somebody was going to give me one, absolutely, I would. I would use the socks off of it, and I would, But the issue is with it is that, getting two of them is just not feasible.
I've used the M6 Mark II and the M3, which I then sold to you, and I loved the M6 Mark II. It's a great little compact camera. So Canon, are producing some great stuff. Although the M range, I don't think has been particularly successful for them. I think this will be. This is their full frame RF glass that goes on it. As he says, not just the investment in the body, is it? It's the investment in all the glass. Although you could effectively use the glass you've got and use an RF adapter.
Yeah, you could do that. That's something you could do. It's not something that I'm a fan of doing.
No.
Unless I was adapting old lenses for a particular reason, like an old lens onto a, to give it a certain look. I wouldn't. I'm not about old lens, old film lenses.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
I wouldn't. I like to use, just personally, the native lenses for the camera.
Right.
I don't like anything in between. And also, Bob, I don't know if you've seen, but from what I've seen, the lenses on this thing are absolutely ginormous.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, and that's a big deal for me because I don't want to be carrying around.
No.
Part of the appeal of going mirrorless is to be smaller and lighter. Yeah. It's one of the biggest things people talk about.
It is.
Oh, I saved my back or this and that. But I mean, the lenses are just ginormous, and they're so fat and round. And I
Yeah.
bet they're gorgeous. I bet they are brilliant. I bet they produce amazing images. But I just don't want those massive boulders swinging around, and they're expensive. So I don't want them swinging around on my straps.
And you're a big lad.
at a wedding.
I mean that respectfully, as opposed to like, you know. And so yeah, it's. I mean, Canon. I think Canon will do well out of the R5 and the R6. I mean, they've created tremendous. I use the word hype. I'm not sure if that's a fair word, because I don't think it is hype. But you know, the 8K. If we look at the specs, 45 megapixel, Joe. We haven't even discussed that.
Well,
that would be. I mean, if you shot a 45 megapixel for doing a wedding, surely. I mean, I don't do weddings, but surely isn't that not overkill? Wouldn't that take up? I mean, you're shooting a hell of a lot of photographs. That's going to take up a massive amount of storage space, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, well, it will, yeah. But the things that I think would be good as a wedding photographer with the 45 megapixels. You don't need 45 megapixels unless you're blowing up to massive billboard sort of size photos for weddings, which not many people would do, I can imagine. One of the good things I would sort of see it for is that if you really like shooting prime lenses, and you're stuck somewhere with a 35, and say you've got the 85 and the 35, and the 85's a bit too tight where you're stuck, and the 35's kind of not really the shot you're going for, you can shoot it with the 35 and crop in afterwards, and it'll give you a lot of crop room to play with. I mean, you don't even need 45 megapixels to do a decent crop anyway, but that will give you a really, really decent file at a decent crop as well.
Is that not like being a lazy photographer, though?
No, because sometimes, Bob, you're not allowed to move. When you go to a church and the little, the church mouse lady says,
point.
I want you to stand there and you're not allowed to go anywhere else. And you're only allowed to take a photo of the first kiss and the ring exchange. That's it.
Good point.
And there's no flash and there's no this and there's no that. So it's a bit different here, that you could be stuck between two pews and not be able to move, which is the main reason why I use a 24 to 105, Bob. So I have the range. I have that range of being able to go from 24 to 105 at a moment's notice. But like I said, people who shoot prime, when they get stuck in that situation where they're at the back of a smaller church and they don't have a really long lens, you could use it and crop in quite, sufficiently.
But $4,000 for just to have a 40. Also,
well, it's not only that, Bob. That's not the only thing. 45 megapixels is, the biggest thing for me as well about this camera. It's not the 8K. I couldn't care less about 8K, to be honest. But I do video work, but I can't imagine anybody needing 8K for anything except stock footage, to be honest, for businesses to go on those massive, screens or whatever. But the 8-stop image stabilization, in-body stabilization, is a game changer for Canon, because we just haven't had it. We've never had it, and I've always lusted over Sony. Because of the image stabilization,
and Panasonic, of course.
But I haven't lusted over the Panasonic. It's just the Sonys. They tick so many boxes. Completely silent. They had the in-body stabilization. I'm talking about the A7 III, for example.
And possibly the A9 as well.
Yeah, and the A9. But they had the banding issues and things. The super frame rates where you could 20 frames per second or something, where you could hold the shutter down and you could actually stitch them together. It would be almost like a video clip, Those sort of things would be really handy for a wedding photographer, especially somebody like myself who does hybrid photo and video, and also sometimes a bit of film. But the image stabilization would be the number one reason why I would purchase this Canon.
Right.
It would be the number one, and to a degree that I would probably keep a 5D Mark IV for most of the shooting, and then have one of these, an R6.
So with the image stabilization, you're thinking again in a dark church, dark reception, whatever, but you can get that shutter speed that you want.
No. For the stabilization, it's for the video.
Oh, sorry.
It's to do the handheld video. It's not for the photos.
Not for the photos.
Yeah, the photos not so much, because you can always get away. The thing is, what I always find, Bob, when you need to go high ISOs for things like details or in a church or something like that, if you need to bump up the ISO crazy, you can do it, because you can always fix it afterwards. Mainly it's skin and people that don't look great when you try and fix really, really noisy images. Details, you can always just fix them and smooth off a bit or whatever. Denoise it and sharpen it, and it will look good enough. But if you're shooting people who are moving anyway, you wouldn't want low shutter speeds and stabilization anyway. So
you wouldn't.
The reality is, for me, is so I can handhold a shot and it looks like it's on a tripod. All I want is the camera to be still. I don't need interesting pans, tilts and swings and all that stuff. I just need to be able to hold a shot take the photo video, and it looks like it's locked off.
Yeah.
Drop it, pick up the other shot, take some photos, or switch and take some photos.
Right.
See what I mean?
Okay. But still, it's a huge investment just for that particular. I say not just for that. I don't think it would improve your workflow, and I don't think it would bring in more clients either.
No, it definitely. I mean, it wouldn't bring in any more clients. I mean, the other option is if you're doing video and you're just doing video, you'll just have a monopod or a gimbal or something, and that'll stabilize an older camera. Again, there are multiple ways to do all these different things, but I mean, the autofocus, whatever. It doesn't mean anything to me.
It's Mark II of the. Again, we both know dual pixel autofocus is great. Does your 5D Mark IV have dual pixel? Oh, it does, right? Yeah. And that is a game changer. But I'm using the Sony A6100s, which is APS-C, and it's their entry level camera. But the autofocus on these, Joe, are phenomenal. Power them off USB block,
I mean, but the 5940 autofocus positions, who cares?
I know,
just move the camera a little bit, focus and recompose. Yeah. It's not the end of the world,
It's not a big deal.
I get it. I mean, it's almost like you want to lock it off on a tripod and you want to touch that part in the farthest top left corner. But that's just. But
again, there will be some people that would benefit.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, I'm thinking like sports photographers. If they're trying to follow, an athlete running around the track, and he's in the distance or she's in the distance, and it will just track that person. I think that's phenomenal.
Oh, no, but what I'm saying is that for me,
for you, I think
everything on here is brilliant. But for me, I wouldn't. It doesn't mean anything to me.
Nothing to you.
8K doesn't mean anything. 4K at 120 does.
Yeah. Well, of course, you do a lot of slow motion, so that would be. But again,
it's 4K being able to crop in. I mean, I deliver in 1080, but 4K being able to crop in at 120, that's special. That's.
And of course, the 8K, as everyone's been saying, is problematic. Because of the amount of space. Have you seen how much space an 8K file takes up? It's colossal.
Yeah,
it's absolutely colossal.
But it's just
not to mention
the marketing thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's just like, hey, we've got 8K. It doesn't actually do what it's supposed to do. But we got 4K 120. That does. You see what I mean? So, but Canon are known obviously for their video. Even on the 5D Mark IV, the video files are massive.
Oh, are they?
So, they're just really big, and it's just I mean, I use them all the time, but that's why I only take small little clips. I'm not filming half an hour ceremonies or 2 hour ceremonies. I'm not doing that. If I did, there would be issues with the recording times and recording limits and things like that. But if I was going to do that, I would just use a video camera.
Right. Now, the R6, I get confused between the R5 and the R6. The R6, now that does look an interesting proposition. It's 2,500. Was it 2,000, something like that? So that's not far off. It's quite a long way off. It's on the A7 III, which is still an amazing camera, the entry level, and quite a long way off the Nikon Z6. Yeah, it's still actually the higher level of sort of mid-range mirrorless cameras, isn't it? But that's got 20 frames a second, 4K up to 60. I don't know if that's a cropped 4K. I think it's full frame sensor. No, I think it is full frame. Again, 8-stop image stabilization. So that would be an interesting proposition.
Is there dual card slots?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, dual card slots on both. On both of them. Yeah,
I mean,
and the dual pixel autofocus Mark II. So again, at £2,500, but again, you've got the issue of having to, because it's RF mount, is to buy into the new system, isn't it? Buy the new lenses. Well, I suppose initially you could use an adapter initially, until
you could.
I mean, they both sell. I think the expensive one is going to sell, but it's not going to sell, by the bucket load. But I do think that the R6, I get confused now. The R6 will be an interesting proposition, I think, for many people.
I think both cameras will be absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to hold one. I can't wait to have a go on one. I will not be buying one. I will not be pre-ordering one. No. And I just won't be, because I just don't need it.
No, and I'm into the Sony ecosystem again. I don't know how long for, but I'm into the Sony ecosystem at the moment. So there we go.
I'll give you another 20 minutes on Sony.
See what these videos come out like first. Oh dear. So, Joe, really appreciate you coming in. It means a lot to me, you coming in, doing these quick chats on different gear. But we both think, Canon could well be onto a winner. Ergonomics, again, similar to the... they're putting these mode dials now on all the Canon. They done that with the. I found that confusing on the M6 Mark II because I had to try and remember what direction does what. Then you know.
Yeah. Again, it's.
Can you work fast with something like that? That's
well,
what
the thing is, Bob,
yet.
you can work fast with anything as long as you practice.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Yeah.
that's the thing. As long as you don't
Yeah.
keep changing systems and things like that.
Like I do.
You do. If you just have one camera and use it as a tool, use it every day, you'll know where everything is. You won't be going, oh, do I have to go forward, backwards? You won't have to do that.
No,
you don't need to do that.
There we go. Well, Joe, thanks very much. And I'd like to thank you, the audience, for watching this. And if you're listening to this on my podcast, that is great as well. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. And hit the like button if you like the content of this video. And once again, I would like to thank you again. I know I said earlier, but I'll say it again. I really appreciate everyone that has subscribed. I even appreciate the trolls that leave these rather comical and sometimes very nasty comments. Don't get many, but you do get the odd one or two. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos relating to video and photography. And if you haven't listened to my podcast, go to a Tech Review Show. You'll find it on your Apple podcasting app thing, Spotify, Google Play, wherever. So thanks very much. See you again soon. Bye for now. Did I say thank you to you? I did, didn't I? Yeah, I did.
Twice, I think.
Twice, right.